What is up guys, Wraec here with a new video, and today I want to talk about Sonja once again. Not only is she our current rate up hero, AFK Journey is now offering you a full refund if you are unhappy with the patch they made to Sonja. But what did they change? Well, they changed one of her abilities, even sent us a message about it, apologizing and sending us some kind of, well, refund, not a refund, a little bit of a compensation for that 10 rate up invite letters, and they say you have to contact support till December the 19th to receive a refund if you want that. So the question is, does it make sense? Will I personally take this offer? What was even changed? So let's hop into her skills. So what was changed was her exclusive equipment. It is called Queen Pin Scepter, and it grants an ability when you have Crimson Covenant. Not active, but after the first Tempest Thrust. So she permanently enhances Crimson Covenant after casting her first Tempest Thrust. And there is an ability in there that if you enhance this a little bit further to +10 mainly, you get this ability. And this ability had a little bit of a different text when we initially got it. So let's check out the old one first. So this is actually from a recent video I made, Final Results, is Sonja better than Tazi, where we talked about whether or not you want to keep your Sonja, because some people were a little bit disappointed with her, or you should maybe switch to Tazi. And I still, by the way, think you should have a Sonja on your account, she's a nice hero. But there we also showed this ability at 8 minutes 44. Reduces damage taken by 40% for Covenant member if any other member is alive. 50% of the reduced damage is shared by other members, but this will not cause them to be defeated. Now let's compare this to the current version. Enhancing the Crimson Covenant also reduces damage taken by 40% for Covenant member if any other member is alive. 50% of the reduced damage shared is by other members, but this will not cause them to be defeated. So we see that the beginning has changed quite a bit, enhancing the Crimson Covenant. But the thing was that many people believe that this ability is active once you establish a Crimson Covenant, which of course, when you know Sonja, you do right at the beginning of the fight. So just for demonstration purposes, you can see the Crimson Covenant, the connection with the glowing symbols, that is active even when you just set your heroes. And once you start the fight, it immediately becomes active. And many people thought that this +10 ability is now also active. And this now was made a little bit more clear, because what they actually meant even in the first version was that you had to fulfill the requirements for Unbreakable Bond, which is she permanently enhances Crimson Covenant after first casting Tempest Thrust, and Tempest Thrust is her ult. So this entire ability and all subsidiary abilities, the initial energy aside, that is a standard base thing that she gets, but everything else is just done once she did her first Tempest Thrust ult. And that actually changes a few things, mainly not her availability in PvE, you are in the wrong game mode for that, but if we go into Arena, it's certainly a big switch. It is certainly a big switch. If we find an enemy there, it is certainly a change, because, well, you put the hero in there and you kind of expect that you get like the buff. For example, if we just took out our Ludovic here, put in our Sonja, it would be very, very nice if, for example, we now had a bond with our Wraec. And that would give him some damage reduction. Would be great. Would be a very nice thing to have. But sadly, this is not the way this works. So Wraec wouldn't even get the damage reduction right now, which would end, well, which would only start when she actually does an ult. And that can be way too late, or can be countered by a Lily May. So this entire ability isn't active and might actually lead to you losing points. I don't know why I demonstrate losing points. That is a horrible thing to demonstrate and put into a video. But we are going to do that now, apparently. Maybe not. I sure hope we don't. Okay, we don't demonstrate losing points. This is a good idea. Yeah, many people were actually enhancing her for that purpose, to put her into PvP, to get this +10 ability immediately profit from the damage reduction that you get, and make some heroes like Wraec immediately tanky with that. And of course, if you want to have her in PvP, then you really want to go for Paragon. because Paragon gives you those nice rivalry stats that are only active in PvP, and this is like a ton of stuff: damage boost, damage reduction, resilience, energy on hit, all of that. So people that invested pretty severely into Sonja might now think that they overestimated her PvP ability, and I would agree with that, honestly, because her PvP ability, yeah, is really not there. Getting to an ult is a stiff requirement, actually, to activate an exclusive equipment. So I would now say, well, going for Paragon is entirely not worth it on her. Having her at Supreme Plus, I think, is kind of the sweet spot, so I'm very happy I stopped right here. But the other thing, and that is something you also have to consider when considering a refund, I thought about some possibilities. I thought, like, okay, kind of would be cool if you, when you had like a Paragon 4 version now of her or something, you really invested into her and you now think, okay, I only need Supreme Plus, that you get the refund and then immediately resummon her. But they don't do that, and I don't know if they described it, but in the first messages that we saw, it is already said that the refund will be processed within 7 business days after the rate up recruitment events end. So there is no option for you to really go in here and just say, okay, I will now just resummon her doing the same rate up. And this is kind of a bit of a problem, because if you will then have a time where you don't have Sonja on account, unless you of course immediately go into Epic Summon and try to get her through that, but getting all the copies, of course, a bit of a problem. That is a little bit of a thing here. So might be tough to get her actually afterwards. So this is something that you really want to consider. I think what I saw was that they also offer some stuff for people that switch to her. So if you maybe switched your Tazi away, I think it is a good idea to probably send support a message. Not because of this, but in general, I don't think it was a very good idea. Did she change a lot? No, actually not. So, like, if you experience Sonja and you now see this video and think like, oh no, they made her bad, they actually didn't. This was a translation error. They just changed the description. The way they described it before was actually always meant to be understood in the way that this activates once she enhances her Crimson Covenant. It was just not conveyed very well, so people understood it differently. And they went ahead and changed this description now to combat this misunderstanding. And now the effect itself, that is not touched. It was the same. So if you liked her yesterday, you will still like her today. But if you got her for the reason that you want to use her in PvP to activate this effect immediately, well, then you don't have the hero that you wanted right now. And then you have to consider different options. I think getting the refund is something I would only really do if I heavily invested into her. And I think like, okay, I got her to Paragon 3 thinking she's the greatest hero in the world, and now I feel like I really wasted my resources. I would rather use them on some other rate up, maybe we get next season or something. In that situation I probably would say, okay, let's just go for the rate up. Apparently, if you bought the pack, there is like the pack with the Sonja copy, you get that Legendary Plus, you keep that copy. And then I would just go ahead and maybe go into Epic Summon, set her there into the wish list, get like 2-3 copies of her, and probably be set again. If I was like a free-to-play or low spender and I got her to Supreme Plus or Mythic Plus, I think you can still be very happy. You got a great supporter right there. You have a strong hero. You have a hero that can pretty much absolutely waste to Durastral. I think you're not really affected by that. It's just that you have to get the understanding that she's not the great PvP character that people thought she would be. And I personally tried a little bit in my Wraec team. It wasn't really worth it too much, honestly. It wasn't really worth it. None of the characters I replaced really made sense there. And if you don't know my Wraec team, I showed the entire strategy yesterday in the video. We can maybe take a look at one of the fights once again. We did one fight before, but yeah, that's the Wraec team. If you want to know more about that, maybe check out yesterday's video about solo Wraec in PvP, because it is kind of fancy and it plays pretty quick destruction on the enemy team. And yeah, I love it, so definitely check that out, yesterday's video. And other than that, I won't switch my Sonja, but you know now what you have to do to get yours refunded if you want so. I wish you a great day, and we'll see us in the next one.